Hello again. It's been a while since we've done the last video, and a lot has been going on. I know that you've had a lot going on as well. And this time I felt to read a little bit from my second book, which is called The Sojourner, Ladybug's Human. And I felt that there's a lot going on in everybody's life. I know my last 3 weeks have had the most amazing things that I had to make choices about. But I also celebrated another milestone. I went from a 7th year on my journey to an 8th year, which means 7 means completion and 8 means new beginnings. And the whole earth is groaning for the redemption of the sons of men. We know that. That's not an uncommon understanding right now, but many do not understand the process that they're going through and how we have to tie into God in the most intimate relationship that we've ever had before. And so that depends upon where you are in your spiritual walk with God. And of course, God wants joy, He wants glory, He wants all of these things. But we must understand that the cost of leadership has some principles. So I'm going to read to you a little bit this time from the Sojourner book. And this is about Paul and his leadership skills. It says, the spiritual foundation of so many today is not solid, but a walk of depraving difficulty and rebuffing quite akin to the same treatment of the early disciples who suffered much. They were those who, reaching out to be the true mature, which we are to establish among our fellow men, we must be the embodiment of God, and often it is all so very costly. But not really, because when you find the joy that you have in seeing the miracles that He does, just to refresh your memory or inform your understanding, this is what Paul the Apostle said. Now, this is from 2 Corinthians in the Amplified Bible, 11:24-27. 5 times I received from the hands of the Jews 40 lashes all but one. 3 times I have been beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I have been aboard shipwreck at sea. A whole night and a day I have spent adrift on the deep. Many times on journeys exposed to perils from rivers, perils from bandits, perils from my own nation. Hello. Perils from the Gentiles. Perils in the city, perils in the desert places, perils in the sea, perils from those posing as believers but destitute of Christ or Christian knowledge, and piety. They used piety, but they really didn't have knowledge. Okay, so in toil and hardship, watching often, through sleepless nights, in hunger and thirst, frequently driven to fasting by want, in cold and exposure, and lack of clothing. Does that sound like the role that you're trained in a leadership position? Not most of us feel that that's what we are going through, unless maybe we're in the military. He expressed that the cost in his leadership role was not one of comfort, but he managed to overcome them, all focused on the course. Here he says, in the natural, it isn't easy, but what if you didn't sign up and you got elected? What if you said yes and stayed in the race and you won't quit? I reiterate, do not quit. Okay. Stay in the race. As long as you know internally, that's inside of you, that you are not alone and somehow each day has its own unique sustainability, when God allows it, He must guide it. This statement is assigned to you in the book that was written for your life. Now, we talked about the scroll of destiny. This has already been on your scroll, what's going to happen and what you're going to walk through. And you actually signed up for this when you signed your scroll of destiny in heaven before you ever were on earth. Think about that. So you're going to have the good times and the bad times. Okay. Though daunting at times, this shows with His omniscience and my inability, this is not always comfortable. But He says, one who has my back, and I let Him do it through me. So what is happening in these situations where it's not comfortable? You are being engrafted, recharged, regenerated to be an explosion in the crazy times we live in. That's what you're getting prepared for. So God is refining and defining who you really are. So listen to this. On this less traveled road, when I did not have a home, but I was traveling through 5 states in 3 years, someone who brought me into their beautiful home wrote me a note from the play Annie on a beautiful card. The sun will come out tomorrow, because she knew I was on a journey. This was from the play Annie. Do you remember the play Annie? Annie was an orphan. It said, and the song goes on, bet your bottom dollar tomorrow is only a day away. A discerning heart and affirmations along the way. God is not going to let you be there without, in a pressure position, without a divine provision, a divine placement, a divine connection. And if you can just get excited and thank him and embrace it and just be grateful, you can't even imagine what he's got planned for you. So that's our message for today. And we'll continue to add some more momentum. Have a blessed evening, morning, or midday.